If you're ready to explore some more of Oregon, come on along.
The first place we'll visit is Eagle Rock, Prineville Reservoir, Held, GI Ranch, Suntex, and Riley. Riley is just kind of a gas and food stop with a post office. There's a big sign right after you pass through town. Whoa, you just missed Riley. South from Riley, we'll go through Wagontire and Alkali Lake and see Lake Abert, Abert Rim, Valley Falls, Lakeview and its geyser, then Goose Lake and New Pine Creek, Fort Bidwell, California, Warner Lake, Adel, Charles Shelton Antelope Range, Plush, Hart Mountain Antelope Refuge Headquarters, the ghost town Blitzen, Roaring Springs Ranch, Steins Mountain, Frenchglen, Harney Lake, Narrows, Voltage, Malheur National Wildlife Refuge Headquarters, Malheur Lake, and the road north. Highway 395 has 139 miles of empty country between Riley and Lakeview. It's a good idea to have an automobile in pretty good condition if you're going to travel this part of Oregon. The first town you come to is Wagontire, population 2. You wouldn't expect much for this size of a town, but there's a small store with a restaurant and a motel here. You can see they have some interesting things for sale. They had a little sun and snow the day that we came here. The next settlement you come to is Alkali Lake, a road maintenance station and rest area. The white sands you'll see in the background are where the lake was before it dried up. Lake Abert is probably the third biggest lake in Oregon, but since it's just alkali water, there's no fish to catch, and it wouldn't be too good for most boats to run the stuff through their outboard motors, so it's just a pretty lake to look at. It lies on top of a great fracture of the Earth's crust that was tilted and lifted up. Abert Rim, on its east side, is one of the highest tilted blocks of this type in the United States, rising 2,500 feet off the valley floor. Fred Brower, a friend of mine, has made a study of these cuts in the hillsides all over the western states and says he believes they are shorelines from the time Noah's flood was drying up. If you have an altimeter in your car or airplane, you will notice that the cuts are always at about 2,000 feet, 4,700, 5,200, and 7,000 feet. Even the pebbles below them are smooth. These particular ones are at about 4,700 feet. I've noticed these all over Oregon, but didn't consider that they were ancient shorelines. This shark's tooth was picked up in a pit on the west side of Fort Rock, and they also gather salt in the same area. You can see a very noticeable watermark on the west side of Fort Rock. We'll visit there a little later in this journey. Maybe the shorelines are left as a silent reminder never to forget God and His instructions on how to live a truly happy and successful life during our time here on earth. He truly does grant the desires of our heart. It's fun to do all this exploring. I just enjoy every minute of it. The road gets steep and goes clear above the tree line on the top of Steins Mountain. From up here you can overlook the Alvord Desert and see for miles all around. What do you know about, like, Narrows? Was there any
Narrows
there?
Narrows was started just before Voltage. A
Right,
fellow by the
1920.
name of, and I can't think of it right now, started Voltage. My grandparents bought it. The reason it was named Voltage is at that time he was an engineer and he wanted to go up the head of the Blitzen River where it come out of the P Range and build a dam.
Huh.
At that time, he wanted a dam and he wanted to make electricity way back then. And so he named this, and he was out of Portland, someplace up there. He had an engineer's license and stuff like that. And so that's the reason for the name of Voltage. During the time when the settlers moved in there, when they was giving them 160 acres and 320, there was over 1,000 people around that lake.
My. On all
That
sides.
was settled, come in there and settled. They didn't last long because the drought hit in the 30s. It started about 1930 and it continued until it broke up in 38.
So the drought pretty well ended all the farming.
Pretty much.
They didn't
so.
irrigate out
They
of the
couldn't
lake.
make it. People couldn't make it because there was no moisture and everything dried up, and very few of them made it. The Indians burnt the Willamette Valley just as regular as clockwise.
They did.
Oh yes,
Yes, I don't
because
remember
they had horses and stuff of their own. All throughout the United States, they burnt a section of ground
that. Okay. I
or
understand.
more, you
Yeah.
know, so that the next year they had fresh grass. But they kept the underbrush on. You don't have like poison oaks and all this stuff. At that time, they kept this country burnt out, and they burned it, you know, Paiutes, Shoshone.
So the ranchers had to plow around their houses or something to
Well,
protect themselves.
yeah, either that or they backfired.
On this trip, we're going west from Burns and Riley to Hampton, Brothers, Millican, the Prehistoric River, Alfalfa, Deschutes, Bend, Boyd Cave, Skeleton Cave, Arnold Ice Cave, the High Desert Museum, Lava Lands Visitor Center, Lava River Cave, Sun River, Lava Cast Forest, Lapine State Recreation Area, Paulina Lake, East Lake, Red Hill, China Hat, South Ice Cave, and Lapine. Up to the early 1900s, there were homestead shacks everywhere out here because of the free land. It usually took about 5 years for a man to arrive, build a house, fence some land, plant a crop, lose it along with all his money, get tired of jackrabbit stew, and leave. By 1930 you could see 70 homestead houses along the road between Bend and Burns, but only 19 of them were occupied. Today they are nearly all gone. The free land was nice, but the climate out here in the high desert is so harsh that you can't grow hardly anything. Are you the new owners of the store here?
Yeah, that's my parents.
Oh, I think it was your parents who was asking me for pictures of the store there so you could try to rebuild it like it used to be.
Yeah, that would be my dad.
Oh, okay.
Buckle up. Guys, I'll pull you.
She's got a
No, I will.
They go right up through the roof, of all things. The lava caves on China Hat Road aren't marked very well. The first one was over a cattle guard about 10 miles from Highway 97. There is a 242 marker. Somebody stole the sign. Boyd Cave is probably about a mile long, so if you come here, be sure to bring a bright light, plus an extra flashlight just in case your regular light goes out. It's so dark inside that a flashlight really doesn't help much, but it is better than nothing. A little ways further east on China Hat Road is the road that goes to Skeleton Cave. It does have a sign. There's also a rocky cave that's next to it, but it's kind of hard to get into because you have to hop from one rock to the next. Then the last one, Arnold Ice Cave, is on Road 300. The last time I went into it, there was so much ice that it covered the steps leading down into it. This time it was clear full of water, so I guess nobody could go in unless they had some scuba gear.
Not easy to get him out.
Nice porcupine.
Oh, one out. Cool in there.
He's a cool little porcupine.
Oh, what a pretty baby.
And you pick him up very carefully.
Oh, come on.
Not past the end of the gloves, evidently.
There he goes, PJ. Watch him put him in.
Come on again next time and let's explore some more of Oregon.